Hey guys, Sam Spencer here. Tonight I want to talk to you about 6 different reasons why you shouldn't invest in property. Before we start, a huge caveat: I am a massive advocate of investing in property. I believe everybody should invest in property eventually in their lives, and we help investors on a daily basis start or grow their portfolio. However, there are a number of reasons why I believe some people shouldn't invest in property at a particular time. Number one reason why I think you shouldn't invest in property is when you've not mastered your own financial situation. If you've got large debts and you can't manage your money on a daily and monthly and weekly basis, I don't think you should be investing in property yet. You've got to be a master of your own finances and know exactly what is going in and out. I've seen numerous people invest in property when they've not mastered their own economy and they've come unstuck doing so. So I fully believe that you should really understand your own finances, ensure your finances are in a good place, your credit score is in a good place before you start thinking about investing in property. Point number 2 of why I don't think you should invest in property. I don't think you should invest in property if you don't know your numbers. I get asked by investors time and time again, what are the most important numbers when I'm looking at a property deal? Well, the most important number for me is the return on capital employed. This is a net figure to show you the actual returns that you're getting on the cash that you put into a property. Other figures that you want to consider also are gross yield, and lastly would be net cash flow on a monthly basis. So after all costs, what are you physically getting in your pocket? Now, these 3 figures are vitally important when you're looking at property, and if you don't know accurately how to assess these, analyze these, calculate these, I don't believe you should be investing in property yet. Number 3, very similar to number 1, is that property itself is not the most liquid investment. What I mean by that, the cash you put into the property is not quickly accessible. Can you sell a house quickly? Well, yes, you can, but it's not going to happen in a few days. You're not going to get that money back in a few days. So it's not the most liquid investment that you can make. So if you may need that cash in the short or medium term quickly, then property may not be the best investment for you at this stage. Point number 4 is that don't put yourself in a position where you're broke after you've purchased a property. You need to make sure you've still got some funds in the bank for a rainy day. What do I mean by that? And what happens if, for example, you couldn't work for a couple of weeks? What happens if, for example, in the house that you live in, you needed a new boiler or you needed a new washing machine? You need to make sure you've got money left over to allow for these things. If, for example, it's an investment property, or you have investment property, there may be some maintenance requirements for their property. So you may need to go in and fix something for the tenant. That might be some plumbing work, some electrics, whatever it may be. What I'm saying is, when you're buying residential buy-to-let property, don't put yourself in a position where you're broke. You need to have some money left in the bank to be able to cater for these unexpected eventualities. Number 5, another reason why I don't believe you should be investing in property is if your primary driver is capital growth. If the main figure that you look at for stacking deals is capital growth. Now, this is my opinion, and some may disagree with this, but we cannot predict the future. We're working on the here and now. We don't know exactly what will happen in 5, 10, 15 years. History tells us that property will go up in value, but you can't always base the future on history. So what I'm saying to you is, don't just base your financial decisions on a capital growth strategy. Look at the here and now. What's the return you're getting? What is the net cash flow that you're getting? The last reason why I don't believe you should be buying a property now is if you don't know how to stack a deal, you don't know how to analyse a deal, you don't know everything about that deal, okay? So you need to know everything about it. You need to know what is the area like, what is the tenant demographic, how long is it going to take on average to rent this property, what are the local letting agents like, what is the industry in the area like. So you need to know everything about that property area, but also the property itself. So, how much work needs to be done on it. Have you had a quote from a reputable builder that you trust? And what's the reason for the person selling it? So you need to know everything about the background of the property itself, plus the area. So if you don't know that, I don't believe at this stage you should be buying property. So there you have it, my 6 reasons of why I believe that you shouldn't be buying investment property if you meet any of them criteria. Now, I'm a massive advocate of investing in property. I think it's a fantastic tool to grow your wealth over the long term. Now, these are just 6 reasons why I believe that you shouldn't invest in buy-to-let investment property. Now, them reasons are not absolute. They are very time dependent. They are resolvable with some education, with some planning. So once you can rectify these 6 reasons as to why I believe you shouldn't buy buy-to-let property, I then believe that you should. But go in with your eyes open. Make sure that you know how to stack a deal. Make sure your finances are in place. Make sure you know what you're looking for with the property. You're not just focusing on capital growth, okay? Hope that was helpful. Any questions you've got, drop me a message, drop a comment below. If it would be great if you could share the post. Thank you. Speak to you soon.